2017, Matt Miller, M14Hoops, another episode of Revolution. What's new, man?
You know, our fall academy has gotten started, and another great group of players. Every fall it's always kind of bittersweet because the seniors from the past are now gone and they're in college. So we've gotten all our college kids and they're enrolled in school now and gone. And so, back in the gym, getting it going.
What else have you been working on?
Two major things. The first one really what I've been working on is seeing if our development model actually works. Obviously, I've worked really hard to create one, and now just to really test it, and that's what I've been working on in the past couple of years, just really make sure that that works. And second thing is just seeing if there's ways that we can upgrade just the youth basketball system. I think there's a lot of great things that go on in basketball at the youth level. I think there's some things that I disagree with. And really the thing that I wanted to research, if there's any ways that we can upgrade it just to make it a better experience for our players so they continue to develop on and off the court.
Does the model work, or does it only work when you're there?
That was the epicenter of the reason that I wanted to figure that out, right? And so, is it me, right? I mean, do I have to be in the gym all the time for these players to get good, or is it something that is repeatable, right? Is it something that I can show our staff how to do, and then they can carry that out? So that's something that we've been working on, and I think with the success down in Indianapolis with Coach Nick, I think that definitely proves and shows that yes, the development model works. No, it doesn't have to be me in the gym doing it. We've set up a lot of policies, a lot of procedures, a lot of systems that we really work with our staff on in our staff training and development courses that really allow them to be able to help players at the same level that it was when it was just me doing it.
So when you thought about expanding, I mean, why Indianapolis of all places?
Because I'm a competitor. If we're going to see if this works, then we're going to go into the belly of the beast. And Indianapolis is a hotbed of basketball. Coach Nick spearheaded that project, and he picked up and moved his whole family down there. We kind of just dropped them off in the middle of nowhere and said, hey, here's the blueprint. Let's go see if this works.
Let's be leaders. You got to practice that every day, though. You can't just show up and say, I want to lead, right? You got to practice being a leader. That's consistency.
Does the model work?
The model works. When I got down here, nobody knew the brand. Nobody knew who I was. Last fall, we had 25 players in our fall academy. A year later, we have 60. I have to follow the blueprint of our developmental model, and I'm seeing the same success that we saw in Illinois. Players going from on their B team to on their A team, from the A team bench to starting for the A team, from not making the team to making the team.
So do the parents think that is too intense?
Parents like the intensity. They like the discipline, they like the structure, and they like the fact that it works. When players come to M14, they leave a better person and they leave a better player.
No, the model works, but that isn't good enough. Is it? I mean, you're talking about researching and updating the current American youth basketball system. What does that even mean?
It's crazy, right? So for me, I get to see, we see 1,500, 2,000 athletes a year. When you count on our summer camps, you count on our fall, you just count all our programming. And by now, I've seen players from third grade all the way up through varsity. So I got a real clear snapshot of what that progression looks like. And that's not just the middle of the pack kid. We've had some really good players come out this program, and we've had some players that are needing a little bit more assistance. And once you start looking at it, right, and we've always had a saying here, keep the main thing the main thing. And you know, the main thing has always been our players, and you start to see their experience through basketball, and you know, I can't help but start trying to ask myself, like, what can I do to make it better? That takes you into some interesting places. And so I had to take some trips and talk to some people to learn. You know, I mean, how do you get a player, your child or any player that you've coached, how did you get us to transfer the skills that we'd work on into the game?
Well, you know, everything we did was gain speed. We had to go. I remember you going at Will Bynum. Will Bynum was going at you. Y'all was going at each other. It was like war. But y'all made each other better. And practice makes you better. And you have to do everything simulated like in a game. So when the game, it's just automatic. So, you know, a lot of these drills, I said, well, you know, if you're just going through the motions, that ain't how the game is going to be. So what we try to do, and you're going to mess up, but eventually you're going to get it, and you're going to get your timing. And that's all we did. We made sure the intensity level was at a high level.
If I have a gripe about youth basketball is that these kids don't have a platform to make mistakes. And you hit on that saying that you're going to make mistakes, that's going to happen. With things being focused on winning, you now have taken that child's platform to make a mistake off the board now. They can't make a mistake anymore. It's about winning. So now you got to sit them down. Now you got a sixth grader who you sat down and their confidence ain't even developed yet. It's done. And now you've turned the kid off of the sport. Now it's not fun anymore.
When kids shut down, you got to beat them, lift them back up, because they're shut down, because 90% of the game is all mental. The kid just shut down mentally, and he's gone, and you need him, and he needs his confidence.
That's the onus on the coach, though.
Yes.
So what about 3-on-3? That's something that we play a lot at our academy. That's something that, you know, I've seen European studies actually broke down what's better kind of for youth. How do you feel about 3-on-3?
I play a lot of 3-on-3, a lot of half court. Because even when you play full court, when you cross half court, it's still half court. So you want to really play half court. You want to break it down with the help defense, help line, deny, you know, talking on defense, hedging. So you learn a whole lot. We got to get back to that. Back in the days, that's all we played.
We define mentality as aggression plus confidence. So how do we train mentality? How do you do, what are some things that you can say with that?
Well, you know, keep the confidence there, keep instilling those things, keep communicating with those, and just not to penalize the guys when they do this and do that, but making sure they do it in the right way. But you got to have the right people to monitor to what's going on.
They need a platform, and I'm trying to wrap it all here. So they need a platform to make some mistakes.
Yeah.
We need to do the skill, but do some transferable drills with the skills. 3-on-3 is a great way to start transferring what you learned into game situation. We need to make sure that the proper person is teaching the kid, but before any of that, the kid's got to have some fun.
Yes.
How many games do you play at a 12U, a 13U, 14? Because that's something that we just don't know, you know, back home. How many games do you guys play? What does your league look like? What goes with
I think over here in England, we don't play enough games.
Okay.
I mean, so we certainly, you know, when you say Europe, we look at England, and then of course you look at some of the top leagues like Spain and Italy.
Sure.
Now, for us here in England, we like to concentrate on the fundamentals,
Right.
and we like to take that into the games. But I think the key thing that we try to do with our youngsters here is whilst we're teaching them the fundamentals of basketball as a team game, we're also teaching them the fundamentals of basketball as their own individual skill. Then what we look at is how do we take what we're teaching them as a team at that age and make sure it's the same thing that the kids are playing at 14 and 16 and 18 and the men. That is absolutely critical. We developed a really successful program in Milton Keynes.
Right.
And at one stage in Milton Keynes, every youngster from the age of 9 through to the professional team were playing exactly the same system. And we were able to fast-track youth players straight through that situation. So if a kid was good at 14, he could play with the under 18s.
Right.
If he was good at 16,
Same thing,
he
right?
could play with the men.
Okay, so tell me this thing. In our area, we might have 10 teams, okay? Maybe 3 cities, 10 teams, not nowhere near as big as London. Parents will try out for every single team until their kid makes a top one. Go from teams just to find out where they can play a top one. Is that doesn't sound, because the consistency is what you're saying, and that's the word that I'm hearing.
That's right. It's about the consistency, and I think we'd like to let the parents understand that. And I think parents will understand that if they can see a progression.
Right.
You know, so if they know that their youngster is playing at this age, and they can see other youngsters at the next level and the next level, and they can see they're coming through that same system, I think they'll believe more in the system.
I also think games are great tests to apply what you learned in a game situation.
Yes.
So that's that balance to me. Like, hey, some games need to be like, let's go win.
That's right.
But other games need to be like, let's see if you can implement this crossover that we were working on under pressure, under fire.
Yes, yes.
Is that,
what we do with our coaches is we push the youngsters to execute what they've been practicing. Now, we believe
that's from a coaching standpoint.
that's
Like,
from
what the coaches are saying.
that's from
Like,
a coaching
hey,
standpoint.
this is what we do.
Yeah, this is what we do, and this is what we're training you for.
Break that down a little bit to me before you keep going. Is that meaning the 1-3-1 zone, or is that meaning like, hey, this jab step or this pick and roll that you guys are doing?
Well,
the individual skill stuff.
It's the individual skill stuff, and it's the execution of the plays. So, you know, our youngsters, we don't actually play zone with them at a younger age. We will leave that till a lot later. Everything we do.
Can you say that again?
We don't play zone defense with our youngsters.
Okay.
You know, we believe that, you know, it'll stunt the development in and around them.
Okay.
You know, so we believe it's about man-to-man defense. It's about the fundamentals of man-to-man defense. It's about the fundamentals of execution, your individual skill within our team concept.
Great start to the trip. Really learned a lot there in London. So I got something set up in Paris. I just randomly emailed one of the Pro A, which is the top level professional teams. I emailed one of their organizations, and actually one of the coaches hit me back and told me that I'll be able to come watch one of their practices at 8 a.m. They got another one at 3 p.m. So when I land in Paris a couple days later, I'm going to end up going out to one of those practices. Hopefully I can sit down with the coach. So it's going to be fun, man. We're learning a lot, and hopefully I'll be able to bring it back home and use it with our players. So next stop, Paris.
Some coaches teach, okay, if they cover, you pass quick the ball on the hole, or you aggress. I prefer you keep. When you got the ball, the big men stay. If you leave, you aggress. If you keep the ball here, he stay with you, your guy follow you or goes under, but he stay. Okay, floater, lob passes, if the guy goes bump, quick pass 45. I like the floater for the guard. I like it.
You teach them where do you float from?
Floater I teach from here, and I teach out of the paint.
Okay.
For me, the guard can stay here, from here.
That's okay.
Yeah. And after, I teach, like this morning, I don't matter if you put 1 step or 2 steps for your floater.
It doesn't matter.
I don't.
Right, so if I'm coming in
Yeah.
Thing that will inspire you to change what M14 is now?
What has never dipped, no matter who's been in front of any of our players, is that consistency. And so to, I guess in essence, put that on steroids more. And I've really learned that that's a really key cog to what we've done. To be able to expand upon that is huge. To be in a play in a system that continues to develop, that's just like high school basketball, right? Generally, the varsity coach has their ways that they do their play, but freshmen do a little bit lesser version of that. Sophomores, it adds a little more. By the time it's varsity, it's the full thing. So we will just have that exact same system. I learned a lot about the injury prevention thing, right? And just, these kids are breaking down left and right, and kids aren't supposed to break down, right? They're supposed to be unbreakable, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of injuries that are happening because of just overusage of muscles. I learned they gotta have fun. And sometimes things get a little bit too political. And that's on both sides of the fence, right? And I mean, that's with parents, but that's also with organizations. What we do works. You can't disagree with it. It works. There's a lot of different philosophies in basketball. What we do is the right way. It's not the only way, right? And I've never said that it was, but it does work. And the last thing I learned is what I've always called the glue to our program is what did you learn from the sport? And that has to stay in this. And so did you learn how to deal with adversity? Did you learn how to take constructive criticism? Did you learn how to be a leader? Did you learn communication skills? Did you learn how to dedicate yourself, how to sacrifice? Because if you learn those things, then you will be successful after you play this sport. And really at the end of the day, that's really what matters.
So what now?
The past 3 years, I've been traveling all over the world, talking with coaches and different authority figures and lifers within the sport, just to figure out, what's the best way to upgrade our program and really upgrade this whole youth basketball system. And I figured it out. We're going to build a basketball facility. We're going to have academy travel teams. Congratulations, M14. We did it.